In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Which was revealed in Makkah. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. Alif, Lam, Ra. These letters are one of the miracles of the Qur'an, and none but Allah, alone, knows their meanings. These are the verses of the book, the Qur'an, Al-Hakim. Is it a wonder for mankind that we have sent our revelation to a man from among themselves, that is, Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, saying, warn mankind of the coming torment in hell, and give good news to those who believe in the oneness of Allah and in his Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, that they shall have with their Lord the rewards of their good deeds? But the disbelievers say, this is indeed an evident sorcerer, that is, Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, and the Qur'an. These are the verses of the book, the Qur'an, Al-Hakim. This indicates that these are verses of the Qur'an, in which the wisdom of judgment is clear. The messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, cannot be but a human being. Allah rebukes the attitude of the disbelievers with the words, is it a wonder for mankind? They have always found it strange that Allah would send messengers to them from among mankind. Allah also tells us about other people from previous nations who said, shall mere men guide us? Surah 64, Ayah 6. Hud and Salih said to their people, do you wonder that there has come to you a reminder from your Lord through a man from among you? Surah 7, Ayah 63. Allah also told us what the disbelievers from Quraysh said, has he made the gods into one god? Verily, this is a curious thing. Surah 38, Ayah 5. Ad-Dahhak reported Ibn Abbas that he said, when Allah sent Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, as a messenger, most of the Arabs denied him and his message, and said, Allah is greater than sending a human messenger like Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. Ibn Abbas said, so Allah revealed, is it a wonder for mankind? Allah's statement, that they shall have with their Lord the rewards of their good deeds. Scholars have differed over the meaning of the reward for the good deeds in this ayah, and give good news to those who believe, that they shall have with their Lord the rewards of their good deeds. Ali bin Abi Talha reported that Ibn Abbas said about this ayah, eternal happiness has been written for them. Al-Awfi reported that Ibn Abbas said, it is the good reward for what they have done. Mujahid said, it is their good deeds, their prayers, fasting, charity, and glorification. He then said, and Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, will intercede for them. Allah said, but the disbelievers say, this is indeed an evident sorcerer. This means that the disbelievers said this, although Allah has sent a messenger from among themselves to them, a man of their own race, as a bearer of good news and as a warner. But they are the liars in saying that. Surely, your Lord is Allah who created the heavens and the earth in 6 days and then rose over, istawa, the throne, really in a manner that suits His Majesty, disposing the affair of all things. No intercessor can plead with Him, except after His leave. That is Allah, your Lord, so worship Him, alone. Then, will you not remember? Allah is the Creator, who arranges the affairs of the universe. Allah tells us that He is the Lord of the entire existence. He tells us that He created the heavens and the earth in 6 days. It was said, like these days, meaning our worldly days. It was also said, every day is like 1,000 years of what we reckon. Later, this will be discussed further. And then rose over, istawa, the throne. The throne is the greatest of the creatures, and is like a ceiling for them. Allah's statement, arranging the affair of all things, means that He controls the affairs of the creatures. Not even the weight of a speck of dust escapes His knowledge in the heavens or in the earth. Surah 34, Ayah 3. No affair distracts Him from other affairs. No matter troubles Him. The persistent requests of His creatures do not annoy Him. He governs big things as He governs small things everywhere, on the mountains, in the oceans, in populated areas, or in wastelands. And no moving creature is there on earth but its provision is due from Allah. Surah 11, Ayah 6. Not a leaf falls, but He knows it. There is not a grain in the darkness of the earth, nor anything fresh or dry, but is written in a clear record. Surah 6, Ayah 59. Ad-Darawardi narrated from Sa'd bin Ishaq bin Ka'b bin Ujrah, that he said, when this ayah was revealed, surely, your Lord is Allah who created the heavens and the earth. They met a great caravan whom they thought should be Arabs. They said to them, who are you? They replied, we are jinns. We left Al-Madinah because of this ayah. This was recorded by Ibn Abi Hatim. Allah said, no intercessor can plead with him, except after he permits. This is similar to what is in the following ayat, who is he that can intercede with him, except with his permission? Surah 2, Ayah 255, and there are many angels in the heavens, whose intercession will avail nothing, except after Allah has given leave for whom He wills and is pleased with. Surah 53, Ayah 26, and intercession with Him profits not, except for him whom He permits. Surah 34, Ayah 23. Allah then said, that is Allah, your Lord, so worship Him alone. Then, will you not remember, meaning worship Him alone with no partners. Then will you not remember, meaning, O idolaters, you worship gods with Allah, while you know that He alone is the Creator, as He said, and if you ask them who created them, they will surely say, Allah. Surah 43, Ayah 87. Say, who is the Lord of the seven heavens, and the Lord of the great throne? They will say, Allah. Say, will you not then have taqwa? Surah 23, Ayat 86-87. Similar is mentioned in the ayah before this ayah and after it. To Him is the return of all of you. The promise of Allah is true. It is He who begins the creation and then will repeat it, that He may reward with justice those who believed, in the oneness of Allah, Islamic monotheism, and did deeds of righteousness. But those who disbelieved will have a drink of boiling fluids and painful torment because they used to disbelieve. The return of everything is to Allah. Allah tells us that the return of the creatures on the day of resurrection is to Him. He will not leave any one of them without bringing everyone into being as He brought them in the beginning. Then Allah states that He is going to bring all the creatures into being. And He it is who originates the creation, then He will repeat it, after it has perished, and this is easier for Him. Surah 30, Ayah 27. That He may reward with justice those who believed and did deeds of righteousness, meaning, the reward will be with justice and complete recompense. But those who disbelieved will have a drink of boiling fluids and painful torment because they used to disbelieve, meaning, because of their disbelief, they will be punished on the day of resurrection by different forms of torment, such as fierce hot winds, boiling water, and the shadow of black smoke. This is so. Then let them taste it, a boiling fluid and dirty wound discharges. And other torments, of similar kind altogether. Surah 38, Ayat 57-58. This is the hell which the criminals denied. They will go between it, hell, and the fierce boiling water. Surah 55, Ayat 43-44. It is He who made the sun a shining thing and the moon as a light and measured out for its stages that you might know the number of years and the reckoning. Allah did not create this but in truth. He explains the ayat, proofs, evidence, verses, lessons, signs, revelations, etc., in detail for people who have knowledge. Verily, in the alternation of the night and the day and in all that Allah has created in the heavens and the earth are ayat, proofs, evidence, verses, lessons, signs, revelations, etc., for those people who keep their duty to Allah, and fear Him much. Everything is a witness to the power of Allah. Allah tells us about the signs He created that are indicative of His complete power and great might. He made the rays that come forth from the bright sun as the source of light, and made the beams that come forth from the moon as light. He made them of two different natures, so they would not be confused with one another. Allah made the dominion of the sun in the daytime and the moon in the night. He ordained phases for the moon, where it starts small, then its light increases until it completes a full moon. Then it begins to decrease until it returns to its first phase at the conclusion of the month. Allah said, and the moon, we have measured for it mansions, to traverse, till it returns like the old dried curved date stalk. It is not for the sun to overtake the moon, nor does the night outstrip the day. They all float, each in an orbit. Surah 36, Ayat 39-40. And he said, and the sun and the moon for counting. And in this ayah, he said, and measured, that is, the moon, Allah said, and measured out for its stages, that you might know the number of years and the reckoning. The days are revealed by the action of the sun, and the months and the years by the moon. Allah then stated, Allah did not create this but in truth. He didn't create that for amusement, but with great wisdom and perfect reasoning. With a similar meaning, Allah said, and we created not the heaven and the earth and all that is between them without purpose. That is the consideration of those who disbelieve. Then woe to those who disbelieve from the fire. Surah 38, Ayah 27. He also said, did you think that we had created you in play, without any purpose, and that you would not be brought back to us? So exalted be Allah, the true King, none has the right to be worshipped but He, the Lord of the Supreme Throne. Surah 23, Ayat 115-116. Allah said, He explains the ayat in detail for people who have knowledge. In other words, He explained the signs and proofs for people who know. Allah further stated, verily, in the alternation of the night and the day and the night alternate, when one arrives, the other goes, and so on, with no errors. This is similar to the meaning indicated in the following ayat, He brings the night as a cover over the day, seeking it rapidly. It is not for the sun to overtake the moon. Surah 36, Ayah 40, and He is the cleaver of the daybreak. He has appointed the night for resting. Surah 6, Ayah 96. Allah continued, and in all that Allah has created in the heavens and the earth, meaning the signs that indicate His greatness. This is similar to Allah's statements, and how many a sign in the heavens and the earth. Surah 12, Ayah 105. Say, behold all that is in the heavens and the earth, but neither ayat nor warners benefit those who believe not. Surah 10, Ayah 101. See they not what is before them and what is behind them, of the heaven and the earth. Surah 34, Ayah 9. Verily, in the creation of the heavens and the earth, and in the alternation of night and day, there are indeed signs for men of understanding. Surah 3, Ayah 190, means intelligent men. Allah said here, ayat for those who have taqwa, meaning fear Allah's punishment, wrath and torment. Verily, those who hope not for their meeting with us, but are pleased and satisfied with the life of the present world, and those who are heedless of our ayat, proofs, evidence, verses, lessons, signs, revelations, etc. Those, their abode will be the fire, because of what they used to earn. The abode of those who deny the hour is hellfire. Allah describes the state of the wretched who disbelieved in the meeting with Allah on the day of resurrection and did not look forward to it, who were well pleased with the life of this world and at rest in it. Al-Hasan said, they adorned it and praised it, until they were well pleased with it. Whereas they were heedless of Allah's signs in the universe, they did not contemplate them. They were also heedless of Allah's laws, for they didn't abide by them. Their abode on the day of return is fire, a reward for what they have earned in their worldly life from among their sins and crimes. That is besides their disbelief in Allah, His Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, and the last day. Verily, those who believe, and do deeds of righteousness, their Lord will guide them through their faith, under them will flow rivers in the gardens of delight, paradise. Their way of request therein will be Subhanaka Allahumma, glory to you, O Allah, and Salam, peace, safety from evil, will be their greetings therein, paradise. And the close of their request will be, all the praises and thanks be to Allah, the Lord of Alameen, mankind, jinn, and all that exists. The good reward is for the people of faith and good deeds. In these two ayat, Allah promises the happy blessings for those who believed in Allah and His messengers, and for those that have complied with what they were commanded to follow. The promise is that He will guide them because of their faith, or it may mean through their faith. As to the first interpretation, the meaning is that Allah will guide them on the day of resurrection to the straight path, until they pass into paradise, because of their faith in this world. The other meaning is that their faith will assist them on the day of resurrection, as Mujahid said, their Lord will guide them through their faith, meaning, their faith will be a light in which they will walk. Their way of request therein will be, glory to you, O Allah. And salam, peace, safety from evil, will be their greetings therein. And the close of their request will be, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of all that exists, meaning, this is the condition of the people of paradise. This is similar to what is found in the following ayat, their greeting on the day they shall meet Him will be, salam, peace. Surah 33, Ayah 44. No lagu, dirty, false, evil vain talk, will they hear therein, nor any sinful speech. But only the saying of, salam. Salam. Surah 56, Ayat 25-26. It will be said to them, salam, a word from the Lord, most merciful. Surah 36, Ayah 58. An angel shall enter unto them from every gate, saying, Salamun alaykum, peace be upon you. Surah 13, Ayat 23-24. In Allah's statement, and the close of their request will be, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of all that exists. There is an indication that Allah Almighty is the praised one always, the worshipped at all times. This is why He praised Himself at the beginning and the duration of His creation. He also praised Himself in the beginning of His book and the beginning of its revelation. Allah said, all the praises and thanks be to Allah, who has sent down to His servant the book, the Qur'an. Surah 18, Ayah 1. All praise is due to Allah, who, alone, created the heavens and the earth, Surah 6, Ayah 1, and many other citations with this meaning. The ayah also indicates that Allah is the praised one in this world, and in the hereafter, and in all situations. In a hadith recorded by Muslim, the people of paradise will be inspired to glorify Allah and praise Him as they instinctively breathe. This will be their nature, because of the increasing bounties of Allah upon them. These bounties are repeated and brought back again and increased with no limit or termination. So praise be to Allah, for there is no God but He, and no Lord save He. And were Allah to hasten for mankind the evil, they invoke for themselves and for their children, while in a state of anger, as He hastens for them the good, they invoke, then they would have been ruined. So we leave those who expect not their meeting with us, in their trespasses, wandering blindly in distraction. Allah does not respond to the requests for evil like He does with the requests for good. Allah tells us about His forbearance and benevolence with His servants. He does not respond to them when they pray with evil intentions against themselves, their wealth or their children, during times of grief or anger. He knows that they do not truly intend evil for themselves, so He doesn't respond to them. This is, in reality, kindness and mercy. On the other hand, He responds to them when they pray for themselves, wealth and money, with good, blessing and growth. Allah has said, and were Allah to hasten for mankind the evil as He hastens for them the good, then they would have been ruined. This means that if He had responded to all of their evil requests, He would have destroyed them. However, people should avoid praying for evil as much as they can. Abu Bakr al-Bazzar recorded in his Musnad that Jabir said, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, do not pray against yourselves, do not pray against your children, do not pray against your wealth, for your prayer may coincide with a time of response from Allah, and Allah will respond to you. This hadith was also recorded by Abu Dawood. This is similar to what is understood from the following ayah, and man invokes, Allah, for evil as he invokes Allah, for good. Surah 17, Ayah 11. In regard to the interpretation of this ayah, and were Allah to hasten for mankind the evil as he hastens for them the good, Mujahid said, it is the man saying to his son or money, when he is angry, O Allah, don't bless him or it, and curse him or it. Should Allah respond to this man in this request as he responds to him with good, he would destroy them. And when harm touches man, he invokes us, lying on his side, or sitting or standing. But when we have removed his harm from him, he passes on as if he had never invoked us for a harm that touched him. Thus it is made fair seeming to the musrifun that which they used to do. Man remembers Allah at times of adversity and forgets him at times of prosperity. Allah tells us about man and how he becomes annoyed and worried when he is touched with distress. But when evil touches him, then he has recourse to long supplications. Surah 41, Ayah 51, long supplications also means many supplications. When man suffers adversity, he becomes worried and anxious. So he supplicates more. He prays to Allah to lift and remove the adversity. He prays while standing, sitting or laying down. When Allah removes his adversity and lifts his distress, he turns away and becomes arrogant. He goes on as if nothing were wrong with him before. He passes on as if he had never invoked us for a harm that touched him. Allah then criticized and condemned those who have these qualities or act this way, so he said, thus it is made fair seeming to the wasteful that which they used to do. But those on whom Allah has bestowed good guidance and support are an exception. Except those who have patience, believe and do righteous good deeds. Surah 11, Ayah 11. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, how wonderful is the case of a believer, there is good for him in everything, and this is not the case with anyone except a believer. If prosperity attends him, he expresses gratitude to Allah, and that is good for him. And if adversity befalls him, he endures it patiently, and that is also good for him. And indeed, we destroyed generations before you when they did wrong, while their messengers came to them with clear proofs, but they were not such as to believe. Thus do we requite the people who are mujrimun, disbelievers, polytheists, sinners, criminals. Then we made you successors after them, generations after generations in the land, that we might see how you would work. The admonition held in the destruction of the previous generations. Allah tells us about what happened to past generations when they belied the messengers and the clear signs and proofs the latter brought to them. Allah then made this nation successors after them. He sent to them a messenger to test their obedience to him and following his messenger. Muslim recorded that Abu Nadrah reported from Abu Sa'id, that he said, Allah's messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, the world is indeed sweet and green, and verily Allah is going to install you generations after generations in it, in order to see how you act. So safeguard yourselves against the world, and avoid the trial caused by women. For the first trial of the children of Israel was due to women. Ibn Jarir reported from Abdur-Rahman, from Ibn Abi Layla, that Auf bin Malik said to Abu Bakr, in a dream, I saw a rope hanging from the sky, and Allah's messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, was being raised. The rope was suspended again and Abu Bakr was raised. Then people were given different measurements around the minbar, and Umar was favored with 3 forearm measurements. Umar said, keep your dream away from us, we have no need for it. When Umar succeeded, he called for Auf and said to him, tell me about your dream. Auf said, do you need to hear about my dream now? Did you not scold me before? He then said, woe unto you. I hated for you to announce it to the successor of Allah's messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, himself. So Auf related his dream until he got to the 3 forearms. He said, 1 that he was Khalifa, 2nd he did not, for the sake of Allah, fear the blame of blamers, and 3rd he was a martyr. Allah said, then we made you successors after them, generations after generations in the land, that we might see how you would work. Surah 10, Ayah 14. Then he said, son of the mother of Umar, you have been appointed as Khalifa, so look at what you will do. About not fearing the blame of blamers, that is Allah's will. About becoming a martyr, how can Umar reach that, when the Muslims are in support of him? And when our clear verses are recited unto them, those who hope not for their meeting with us, say, bring us a Qur'an other than this, or change it. Say, O Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, it is not for me to change it on my own accord, I only follow that which is revealed unto me. Verily, I fear the torment of the great day, that is, the day of resurrection, if I were to disobey my Lord. Say, O Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, if Allah had so willed, I should not have recited it to you, nor would he have made it known to you. Verily, I have stayed amongst you a lifetime before this. Have you then no sense? Obstinance of the chiefs of the Quraysh. Allah tells us about the obstinance of the disbelievers of the Quraysh, who were opposed to the message and denied Allah. When the messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, read to them from the book of Allah and his clear evidence, they said to him, bring a Qur'an other than this. They wanted the Prophet to take back this book and bring them another book of a different style or change it to a different form. So Allah said to his Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, say, it is not for me to change it on my own accord. This means that it is not up to me to do such a thing. I am but a servant who receives commands. I am a messenger conveying from Allah. I only follow that which is revealed unto me. Verily, I fear the torment of the great day, the day of resurrection, if I were to disobey my Lord. The evidence of the truthfulness of the Qur'an. Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, then argued with supporting evidence to the truthfulness of what he had brought them, say, if Allah had so willed, I should not have recited it to you, nor would he have made it known to you. This indicates that he brought this only with the permission and will of Allah for him to do so. The proof of this was that he had not fabricated it himself and that they were incapable of refuting it, and that they should be fully aware of his truthfulness and honesty, since he grew up among them, until Allah sent the message to him. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, was never criticized for anything or held in contempt. So he said, verily, I have stayed among you a lifetime before this. Have you then no sense? Which meant, don't you have brains with which you may distinguish the truth from falsehood? When Heraclius, the Roman king, asked Abu Sufyan and those who were in his company about the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, he said, have you ever accused him of telling lies before his claim? Abu Sufyan replied, no. Abu Sufyan was then the head of the disbelievers and the leader of the idolaters, but he still admitted the truth. This is a clear and irrefutable testimony since it came from the enemy. Heraclius then said, I wondered how a person who does not tell a lie about others could ever tell a lie about Allah. Ja'far bin Abu Talib said to An-Najashi, the king of Ethiopia, Allah has sent to us a messenger, that we know his truthfulness, ancestral lineage, and honesty. He stayed among us before the prophethood for 40 years. So who does more wrong than he who forges a lie against Allah or denies his ayat, proofs, evidence, verses, lessons, signs, revelations, etc. Surely, the mujrimun, criminals, sinners, disbelievers and polytheists, will never be successful. Allah says that no one is more wrong, unjust and arrogant than he who invented a lie against Allah, forged claims about Allah, or claimed that Allah has sent a message to him but his claim was not true. No one is more of a criminal or has committed greater wrong than such a person. Liars cannot be confused with prophets. Anyone who claims such a thing, whether lying or telling the truth, will necessarily be supported by Allah with proofs and signs of his falsehood or truthfulness. The difference between Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, and Musaylimah the liar, was clearer to those who met both of them than the difference between forenoon and midnight when it is extremely dark. Those who are clear-sighted can distinguish via signs and proofs between the truthfulness of Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, and the falsehood of Musaylimah the liar, Sajjah and al-Aswad al-Ansi. Abdullah bin Salam said, when Allah's messenger arrived at al-Madinah, people were scared away, and I was one of them. But when I saw him, I realized that his face could never be the face of a liar. The first thing I heard from him was his statement, "O people, spread the greetings of peace, feed others, be dutiful to your relatives, and offer prayers in the night when others are asleep, so that you will enter paradise in peace." When Dimam bin Tha'labah came to Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, and asked him in the presence of his people, Banu Sa'd bin Bakr, "Who raised this heaven?" He replied, "Allah." He asked, "And who erected these mountains?" He replied, "Allah." He asked, "Who spread out this earth?" He replied, "Allah." Then he asked, "I ask you in the name of the one, who raised the heavens, erected the mountains, and spread out this earth, has Allah sent you as a messenger to all mankind?" He said, "By Allah, yes." Then Dimam asked him about Salah, Zakah, Hajj and fasting. With every question, he swore by Allah, and with every response the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, swore also. Dimam then said, "You, indeed, are telling the truth. By the one who sent you with the truth, I will not increase or decrease from what you have told me." This man was content with the few responses of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. He was convinced of the Prophet's truthfulness by the signs that he saw and witnessed. It was narrated that Amr bin al-As went to Musaylimah. Amr was not a Muslim at that time, and he was a friend of Musaylimah. Musaylimah said, "Woe unto you, Amr! What was revealed unto your friend, meaning Allah's Messenger, during this period?" Amr replied, "I heard his companions reading a short but great surah." He asked, "And what was that?" He recited, "By al-Asr, the time. Verily, man is in loss." Surah 103, Ayat 1-2, until the end of the surah. Musaylimah thought for a while and then said, "Something similar to that was also revealed to me." Amr asked, "And what is it?" He then recited, "O Wabr, O Wabr! You are only 2 ears and a breast. The rest of you is hollow. What do you think, Amr?" Amr then said, "By Allah, you know that I know that you are a liar." This was a statement made by an idolater in judgment of Musaylimah. He knew Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, and his truthfulness. He also knew Musaylimah and his tendency toward falsehood and lying. People who think and have insight know even better. Allah said, "And who does more aggression and wrong than he who invents a lie against Allah or rejects his ayat?" Surah 6, Ayah 21. So who does more wrong than he who forges a lie against Allah or denies his ayat? Surely, the criminals will never be successful. Surah 10, Ayah 17. No one is more unjust than he who belies the truth which the messengers have brought, supported with evidence and proof. And they worship besides Allah things that harm them not, nor profit them, and they say, "These are our intercessors with Allah." Say, do you inform Allah of that which He knows not in the heavens and on the earth? Glorified and exalted is He above all that which they associate as partners with Him. Mankind were but one community, that is, on one religion, Islamic monotheism, then they differed, later, and had not it been for a word that went forth before from your Lord, it would have been settled between them regarding what they differed. What do the idolaters believe about their gods? Allah reproaches the idolaters that worshipped others besides Allah, thinking that those gods would intercede for them before Allah. Allah states that these gods do not harm or benefit. They don't have any authority over anything, nor do they own anything. These gods can never do what the idolaters had claimed about them. That is why Allah said, "Say, do you inform Allah of that which He knows not in the heavens and on the earth?" Ibn Jarir said, this means, are you telling Allah about what may not happen in the heavens and earth? Allah then announced that His glorious self is far above their shirk and kufr, by saying, glorified and exalted is He above all that which they associate as partners with Him. Shirk is new. Allah then tells us that shirk was new among mankind. It was not in existence in the beginning. He tells us that people were believers in one religion, and that religion was Islam. Ibn Abbas said, there were 10 centuries between Adam and Nuh. They were all on Islam. Then differences among people took place. They worshipped idols and rivals. So Allah sent extensive evidence and irrefutable proof with His messengers, so that those who were to be destroyed, for rejecting the faith, might be destroyed after a clear evidence, and those who were to live might live after a clear evidence. Surah 8, Ayah 42. Allah's statement, "And had not it been for a word that went forth before from your Lord," means that if Allah had not decreed He would not punish anyone until the evidence is established against them. And also that if He had not given creatures a respite until a defined term had passed, He would have judged among them in what they disputed. Then He would have caused the believers to be happy and delighted, and the disbelievers to be miserable and wretched. And they say, how is it that not a sign is sent down on him from his Lord? Say, the unseen belongs to Allah alone, so wait you, verily, I am with you among those who wait, for Allah's judgment. The idolaters requested a miracle. These stubborn, lying disbelievers said, why would not a sign be revealed to Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, from his Lord? They meant a sign such as given to Salih. Allah sent the she-camel to Thamud. They wanted Allah to change the Mount of As-Safa into gold, or remove the mountains of Makkah and replace them with gardens and rivers. Allah is capable of doing all of that, but He is all-wise in His actions and statements. Allah said, blessed be He who, if He wills, will assign you better than all that, gardens under which rivers flow, paradise, and will assign you palaces, in paradise. Nay, they deny the hour, and for those who deny the hour, we have prepared a flaming fire. Surah 25, Ayat 10-11. He also said, and nothing stops us from sending the Ayat, but that the people of old denied them. Surah 17, Ayah 59. Allah's way of dealing with His creatures is that He would give to them if they asked things from Him. But if they then didn't believe, He would expedite punishment for them. When Allah's messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, was given the choice of Allah, giving the people what they requested, but if they didn't believe they would be punished, or that their request would not be answered immediately, Allah's messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, chose the latter. Allah guided His Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, to answer their question by saying, say, the unseen belongs only to Allah. This ayah means that the matter in its entirety is for Allah. He is well aware of the outcome of all matters. So wait you, verily, I am with you among those who wait. If you would not believe unless you witness that which you asked for, then wait for Allah's judgment for me, as well as for yourselves. Nonetheless, they had witnessed some of the signs and miracles of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, which were even greater than what they had asked for. In their presence, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, pointed to the moon when it was full and it split into 2 parts, one part behind the mountain and the other before them. If they were seeking the guidance and firm knowledge by asking for signs, Allah would have known that and would have granted them what had been requested. But Allah knew that it was their obstinacy that was behind their request. Therefore Allah left them to suffer in their suspicion and doubt. Allah knew that none of them would believe. This is similar to Allah's statements, truly, those, against whom the word, wrath, of your Lord has been justified, will not believe. Even if every sign should come to them. Surah 10, Ayat 96-97, and even if we had sent down unto them angels, and the dead had spoken unto them, and we had gathered together all things before their very eyes, they would not have believed, unless Allah willed. Surah 6, Ayah 111. This was in addition to their arrogance. As Allah said in another ayah, and even if we opened to them a gate from the heaven. Surah 15, Ayah 14. And He said, and if they were to see a piece of the heaven falling down. Surah 52, Ayah 44. He also said, and even if we had sent down unto you, O Muhammad, a message written on paper so that they could touch it with their hands, the disbelievers would have said, "This is nothing but obvious magic." Surah 6, Ayah 7. Such people don't deserve to have their requests answered, for there is no benefit in answering them. These people are obstinate and stubborn as a result of their corruption and immorality. Therefore Allah told His Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, to say, "So wait you, verily, I am with you among those who wait." And when we let mankind taste mercy after some adversity has afflicted them, behold, they take to plotting against our ayat, proofs, evidence, verses, lessons, signs, revelations, etc. Say, Allah is more swift in planning. Certainly, our messengers, angels, record all of that which you plot. He it is who enables you to travel through land and sea, till when you are in the ships, and they sail with them with a favorable wind, and they are glad therein, then comes a stormy wind and the waves come to them from all sides, and they think that they are encircled therein. Then they invoke Allah, making their faith pure for Him alone, saying, "If you, Allah, deliver us from this, we shall truly be of the grateful." But when He delivers them, behold, they rebel, disobey Allah, in the earth wrongfully. O mankind! Your rebellion, disobedience to Allah, is only against your own selves, a brief enjoyment of this worldly life, then, in the end, unto us is your return, and we shall inform you of that which you used to do. Man changes when he receives mercy after times of distress. Allah tells us that when He makes men feel His mercy after being afflicted with distress, they take to plotting against our ayat. The coming of mercy after distress is like the coming of ease after hardship, fertility after aridity, and rain after drought. Mujahid said that man's attitude indicates a mockery and belying of blessings. The meaning here is similar to Allah's statement, "And when harm touches man, he invokes us, lying on his side, or sitting, or standing." Surah 10, Ayah 12. Al-Bukhari recorded that Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, led the subh, dawn, prayer after it had rained during the night. Then he said, "Do you know what your Lord has said last night?" They replied, "Allah and His Messenger know better." He said, "Allah said, this morning, some of my servants have become believers and some disbelievers in me. He who said, we have had this rainfall due to the grace and mercy of Allah, is a believer in me and a disbeliever in the stars. And he who said, we have had this rainfall due to the rising of such and such star, is a disbeliever in me and a believer in the stars." The ayah, say, Allah is more swift in planning, means that Allah is more capable of gradually seizing them with punishment, while granting them concession of a delay until the criminals think that they would not be punished. But in reality they are in periods of respite, then they will be taken suddenly. The noble writers, meaning the angels who write the deeds, will write everything that they do, and keep count of their deeds. Then they will present it before the all-knowing of the seen and unseen worlds. The Lord will then reward them for the significant deeds and even the seemingly insignificant that may be as tiny as a spot on a date pit. Allah further states, He it is who enables you to travel through land and sea, which means that He preserves you and maintains you with His care and watching. Till when you are in the ships, and they sail with them with a favorable wind, and they are glad therein, meaning smoothly and calmly, then comes, these ships, a stormy wind, and the waves come to them from all sides, and they think that they are encircled therein, meaning that they are going to be destroyed. Then they invoke Allah, making their faith pure for Him, alone, meaning that in this situation, they would not invoke an idol or statue besides Allah. They would single Him out alone for their supplications and prayers. This is similar to Allah's statement, and when harm touches you upon the sea, those that you call upon vanish from you except Him, Allah alone. But when He brings you safe to land, you turn away from Him. And man is ever ungrateful. Surah 17, Ayah 67. And in this surah, He says, they invoke Allah, making their faith pure for Him, saying, if you, Allah, deliver us from this situation, we shall truly be of the grateful. This means that we will not ascribe others as partners with you. We will later worship you alone, as we are praying to you here and now. Allah states, but when He delivers them from that distress, behold, they rebel, disobey Allah, in the earth wrongfully, meaning, they returned as if they had never experienced any difficulties, and had never promised Him anything. So Allah said, He passes on as if He had never invoked us for a harm that touched Him. Surah 10, Ayah 12. Allah then said, O mankind! Your rebellion, disobedience to Allah, is only against yourselves, it is you yourselves that will taste the evil consequence of this transgression. You will not harm anyone else with it, as comes in the Hadith, there is no sin that is more worthy that Allah hasten punishment for in this world, on top of the punishment that Allah has in store for it in the hereafter, than oppression and cutting the ties of the womb. Allah's statement, a brief enjoyment of this worldly life, means that you only have a short enjoyment in this low and abased worldly life. Then, in the end, unto us is your return, meaning your goal and final destination. And we shall inform you of all your deeds. Then we shall recompense you for them. So let him who finds good, in his record, praise Allah, and let him who finds other than that blame no one but himself. Verily, the likeness of this worldly life is as the water, rain, which we send down from the sky, so by it arises the intermingled produce of the earth of which men and cattle eat, until when the earth is clad in its adornments and is beautified, and its people think that they have all the powers of disposal over it, our command reaches it by night or by day and we make it like a clean-mown harvest, as if it had not flourished yesterday. Thus do we explain the Ayat, proofs, evidence, verses, lessons, signs, revelations, laws, etc., in detail for the people who reflect. Allah calls to the home of peace, that is, paradise, by accepting Allah's religion of Islamic monotheism and by doing righteous good deeds, and abstaining from polytheism and evil deeds, and guides whom He wills to the straight path. The parable of this life. Allah, the Almighty, has set an example of the similitude of the life of this world, its glitter and the swiftness of its passage, likening it to the plant and vegetation that Allah brings out from the earth. This plant grows from the water that comes down from the sky. These plants are food for people, such as fruits and other different types and kinds of foods. Some other kinds are food for cattle such as clover plants, that is, green fodder for the cattle, and herbage etc. Until when the earth is clad in its adornments, and is beautified, meaning, it became good by what grows on its hills such as blooming flowers of different shapes and colors. And its people think, those who planted it and put it in the ground, that they have all the powers of disposal over it, to cultivate it and harvest it. But while they were in that frame of mind, a thunderbolt or a severe, cold storm came to it. It dried its leaves and spoiled its fruits. Allah said, our command reaches it by night or by day, and we make it like a clean-mown harvest, it became dry after it was green and flourishing. As if it had not flourished yesterday. As if nothing existed there before. Qatada said, as if it had not flourished, as if it was never blessed. Such are things after they perish, they are as if they had never existed. Similarly, the Hadith, a person who led the most prosperous life in this world will be brought up and dipped once in the fire. He will then be asked, have you ever found any good or comfort? He will reply, no. And a person who had experienced extreme adversity in this world will be brought up and dipped once in the bliss of paradise. Then he will be asked, did you ever face any hardship or misery? He will reply, no. Allah said about those who were destroyed, so they lay, dead, prostrate in their homes, as if they had never lived there. Surah 11, Ayat 67-68. Allah then said, thus do we explain the Ayat, we do explain the proofs and evidences, in detail, for the people who reflect, so they may take a lesson from this example in the swift vanishing of this world from its people while they are deceived by it. They would trust this world and its promises, and then it unexpectedly turns away from them. This world, in its nature, runs away from those who seek it, but seeks those who run away from it. Allah mentioned the parable of this world and the plants of the earth in several ayat in His noble book. He said in Surah Al-Kahf, and put forward to them the example of the life of this world, it is like the water, rain, which we send down from the sky, and the vegetation of the earth mingles with it, and becomes fresh and green. But, later, it becomes dry and broken pieces, which the winds scatter. And Allah is able to do everything. Surah 18, Ayah 45. He also gave similar examples in both Surah Az-Zumar, Surah 39, Ayah 21, and Surah Al-Hadid, Surah 57, Ayah 20. Invitation to the everlasting gifts that do not vanish. Allah said, and Allah calls to the abode of peace. When Allah mentioned the swiftness of this world and its termination, He invited people to paradise and encouraged them to seek it. He called it the abode of peace. It is the abode of peace because it is free from defects and miseries. So Allah said, Allah calls to the home of peace, and guides whom He wills to the straight path. It was narrated that Jabir bin Abdullah said, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, came out one day and said to us, I have seen in my sleep that it was as if Jibreel was at my head and Mikail at my leg. They were saying to each other, give an example for him. He said, listen, your ear may listen. And fathom, your heart may fathom. The parable of you and your ummah is that of a king who has built a house on his land. He arranged a banquet in it. Then he sent a messenger to invite the people to his food. Some accepted the invitation and others did not. Allah is the king and the land is Islam, the house is paradise, and you, Muhammad, are the messenger. Whosoever responds to your call, enters Islam. And whosoever enters Islam, enters paradise. And whosoever enters paradise, eats from it. Ibn Jarir recorded this hadith. It was also reported that Abu ad-Darda said, that Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, 2 angels descend every day in which the sun rises, and say that which all Allah's creatures would hear except jinn and humans, O people. Come to your Lord. Anything little and sufficient is better than a lot but distractive. And He sent this down in the Qur'an when He said, Allah calls to the abode of peace. Ibn Abi Hatim and Ibn Jarir recorded this. For those who have done good is the best reward, that is, paradise, and even more, that is, having the honor of glancing at the countenance of Allah. Neither darkness, nor dust, nor any humiliating disgrace shall cover their faces. They are the dwellers of paradise, they will abide therein forever. The reward of the good-doers. Allah states that those who do good in this world, by having faith and performing righteous deeds, will be rewarded with a good reward in the hereafter. Allah said, is there any reward for good other than good? Surah 55, Ayah 60. Then, Allah said, and even more, the reward of the good deeds multiplied 10 times to 700 times, and even more on top of that. This reward includes what Allah will give them in paradise, such as the palaces, al-hur, virgins of paradise, and His pleasure upon them. He will give them what He has hidden for them of the delight of the eye. He will grant them on top of all of that and even better, the honor of looking at His noble face. This is the increase that is greater than anything that had been given. They will not deserve that because of their deeds, but rather, they will receive it by the grace of Allah and His mercy. The explanation that this refers to looking at Allah's noble face was narrated from Abu Bakr, Hudayfah bin al-Yaman, Abdullah bin Abbas, Sa'id bin al-Musayyib, Abdur-Rahman bin Abu Layla, Abdur-Rahman bin Sabit, Mujahid, Ikrimah, Amr bin Sa'd, Atta, Ad-Dahak, Al-Hasan, Qatada, As-Suddi, Muhammad bin Ishaq, and others from the earlier and later scholars. There are many hadiths that contain the same interpretation. Among these hadiths is what Imam Ahmad recorded from Suhaib, that Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, recited this ayah, for those who have done good is the best, and even more. And then he said, when the people of paradise enter paradise, a caller will say, O people of paradise, Allah has promised you something that He wishes to fulfill. They will reply, what is it? Has He not made our scale heavy? Has He not made our faces white and delivered us from fire? Allah will then remove the veil and they will see Him. By Allah, they have not been given anything dearer to them and more delightful than looking at Him. Muslim and a group of Imams also related this hadith. Allah then said, "Neither darkness nor dust shall cover their faces," meaning, no blackness or darkness will be on their faces during the different events of the Day of Judgment. But the faces of the rebellious disbelievers will be stained with dust and darkness. Nor any humiliating disgrace, meaning, they will be covered with degradation and disgrace. The believers, however, will not be humiliated internally or externally, on the contrary, they will be protected and honored. For as Allah has said, so Allah saved them from the evil of that day, and gave them nadra, brightness, and joy. Surah 76, Ayah 11, meaning, light in their faces and delight in their hearts. May Allah make us among those by His grace and mercy. And those who have earned evil deeds, the recompense of an evil deed is the like thereof, and humiliating disgrace will cover them, their faces. No defender will they have from Allah. Their faces will be covered as it were with pieces from the darkness of night. They are the dwellers of the fire, they will abide therein forever. The reward of the wicked criminals. After Allah told us about the state of those happy people who have done right, and He promised increase in reward, He continued to tell us about the unlucky, miserable ones. He told us about His justice with them. He will reward them with similar evil, without any increase, and will cover them, meaning that their faces will be covered and overtaken by humiliation, because of their sins and their fear from these sins. Similarly Allah said, "And you will see them brought forward to it, hell, made humble by disgrace." Surah 42, Ayah 45. He also said, "Consider not that Allah is unaware of that which the wrongdoers do, but He gives them respite up to a day when the eyes will stare in horror. They will be, hastening forward with necks outstretched, their heads raised up, towards the sky." Surah 14, Ayat 42-43. Allah then said, "No defender will they have from Allah," meaning, there will be no protectors to prevent them from punishment, as Allah said, "On that day, man will say, where is the refuge, to flee? No. There is no refuge. Unto your Lord, alone, will be the place of rest that day." Surah 75, Ayat 10-12. Allah's statement, "Their faces will be covered as it were," means that their faces will be dark in the hereafter. This is similar to His statement, "On the day of resurrection, when some faces will become white, and some faces will become black, as for those whose faces will become black, to them will be said, did you reject faith after accepting it? Then taste the torment, in hell, for rejecting faith. And for those whose faces will become white, they will be in Allah's mercy, paradise, therein they shall dwell forever." Surah 3, Ayat 106-107. He also said, "Some faces that day will be bright, laughing, rejoicing at good news, of paradise. And other faces that day will be dust-stained." Surah 80, Ayat 38-40. "And the day whereon we shall gather them all together, then we shall say to those who did set partners in worship with us, stop at your place. You and your partners, whom you had worshipped in the worldly life, then we shall separate them, and there, Allah's so-called partners shall say, it was not us that you used to worship. So sufficient is Allah as a witness between us and you that we indeed knew nothing of your worship of us." There. Every person will know, exactly, what he had earned before, and they will be brought back to Allah, their rightful Mawla, Lord, and their invented false deities will vanish from them. The gods of the idolaters will claim innocence from them on the day of resurrection. Allah said, "And the day whereon we shall gather them. Allah will gather together all the creatures of earth, human and jinn, righteous and rebellious." He said in another ayah, "And we shall gather them all together, so as to leave not one of them behind." Surah 18, Ayah 47. "Then we shall say to those who did associate partners, stop at your place. You and your partners, He then will command the idolaters to stay where they are and not to move from their destined places, so they would be separated from the place of the believers. Similarly, Allah said, it will be said, and O you, the criminals, get you apart this day, from the believers. Surah 36, Ayah 59. Allah also said, and on the day when the hour will be established, that day shall, all men, be separated, the believers will be separated from the disbelievers. Surah 30, Ayah 14. In the same Surah, Ar-Rum, Allah said, on that day, men shall be divided. Surah 30, Ayah 43, means, they shall be divided in two. This is what will take place when Allah Almighty will come for final judgment. The believers intercede to Allah so the final judgment may come and they get rid of that state. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, on the day of resurrection, we will be in a visible place above the other people. Allah tells us here what He is going to command the idolaters and their idols to do on the day of resurrection: stop at your place, you and your partners. Then we shall separate them, and that they would deny their worship and claim their innocence from them. Similarly, Allah said, nay, but they will deny their worship of them. Surah 19, Ayah 82. When those who were followed declare themselves innocent of those who followed them. Surah 2, Ayah 166, and who is more astray than one who calls on, invokes, besides Allah, such as will not answer him till the day of resurrection, and who are, even, unaware of their calls, invocations, to them? And when mankind are gathered, on the day of resurrection, they, false deities, will become their enemies. Surah 46, Ayat 5-6. This refers to the partners responding to those who worship them. Then Allah said, so sufficient is Allah as a witness between us and you. They say that we did not know or think that you were worshipping us. Allah is a witness between us and you that we never called upon you to worship us. We never ordered you to worship us, neither did we accept your worship of us. Allah said, there. Every person will know, exactly, what he had earned before. This will be the state of accounting on the day of resurrection. Every soul shall know all that it had sent forth, both good and evil. Similarly, Allah said, the day when all the secrets will be examined. Surah 86, Ayah 9. On that day, man will be informed of what he sent forward, of deeds, and what he left behind. Surah 75, Ayah 13, and on the day of resurrection, we shall bring out for him a book which he will find wide open. It will be said to him, read your book. You yourself are sufficient as a reckoner against you this day. Surah 17, Ayat 13-14. Then, Allah said, and they will be brought back to Allah, their rightful Mawla. All affairs and matters will be brought back to Allah, the Judge, the All-Just. He will judge everyone, and then admit the people of paradise in paradise, and the people of hell to hell. And will vanish from them, meaning what the idolaters worshipped, what they invented, what they worshipped besides Allah, that they invented. Say, O Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, who provides for you from the sky and the earth? Or who owns hearing and sight? And who brings out the living from the dead and brings out the dead from the living? And who disposes the affairs? They will say, Allah. Say, will you not then be afraid of Allah's punishment, for setting up rivals in worship with Allah? Such is Allah, your Lord in truth. So after the truth, what else can there be, save error? How then are you turned away? Thus is the word of your Lord justified against those who rebel, disobey Allah, that they will not believe, in the oneness of Allah and in Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, as the messenger of Allah. The idolaters recognize Allah's Tawhid and Lordship, and the evidence is established against them through this recognition. Allah argues that the idolaters' recognition of Allah's oneness and Lordship is an evidence against them, for which they should admit and recognize the oneness in divinity and worship. So Allah said, say, who provides for you from the sky and the earth, meaning, who is he who sends down water from the sky, and splits the earth with his power, and wills and allows things to grow from it? Is there a God, besides Allah? Surah 27, Ayah 62, who provides grains, and grapes and clover plants, and olives and date palms, and gardens, dense with many trees, and fruits and herbage. Surah 80, Ayat 27-31. They will say, Allah. Who is he that can provide for you if he should withhold his provision? Surah 67, Ayah 21. Allah's statement, or who owns hearing and sight, means that Allah is the one who granted you the power of sight and hearing. If he willed otherwise, he would remove these gifts and deprive you of them. Similarly, Allah said, say, it is he who has created you, and endowed you with hearing and seeing. Surah 67, Ayah 23. Allah also said, say, tell me, if Allah took away your hearing and your sight. Surah 6, Ayah 46. Then, Allah said, and who brings out the living from the dead, and brings out the dead from the living, by his great power and grace. And who disposes of the affairs, in whose hand is the dominion of everything, who protects all, while against whom there is no protector? Who is the one who judges, with none reversing his judgment? Who is the one that is not questioned about what he does, while they will be questioned? Whosoever is in the heavens and on earth begs of him. Every day he is engaged in some affair. Surah 55, Ayah 29. The upper and lower kingdoms and what is in them both, including the angels, humans, and jinn, are in desperate need of him. They are his servants and are under his control. They will say, Allah. They say this knowingly and they admit it. Say, will you not then be afraid of Allah's punishment, meaning, don't you fear him when you worship others because of your ignorance and false opinions? Allah then said, such is Allah, your Lord in truth. This Lord, that you admitted is the one who does all this, is your Lord and the true deity that deserves to be worshipped alone. So after the truth, what else can there be, save error? Any one worshipped other than him is false, for there is no God but Allah, he has no partners. How then are you turned away? How, then, can you turn away from his worship to worship others, while you know that he is the Lord that has created everything, the one who controls and governs everything? Allah then said, thus is the word of your Lord justified against those who rebel. These idolaters disbelieved and continued to practice their shirk, and worship others besides Allah. But they knew that he is the Creator, the Sustainer, and the only one of authority and control in this universe, the one who sent his messengers to single him out for all worship. As they disbelieved and were persistent in their shirk, Allah's word proved true, and was justified that they would be miserable inhabitants of the fire. Allah said, they will say, yes, but the word of torment has been justified against the disbelievers. Surah 39, Ayah 71. Say, is there of your Allah's called partners one that originates the creation and then repeats it? Say, Allah originates the creation and then he repeats it. Then how are you deluded away from the truth? Say, is there of your Allah's so-called partners one that guides to the truth? Say, it is Allah who guides to the truth. Is then he who guides to the truth more worthy to be followed, or he who finds not guidance, himself, unless he is guided? Then, what is the matter with you? How judge you? And most of them follow nothing but conjecture. Certainly, conjecture can be of no avail against the truth. Surely, Allah is all aware of what they do. This invalidates and falsifies their claims for committing shirk with Allah and worshipping different idols and rivals. Say, is there of your partners one that originates the creation and then repeats it, meaning, who is the one who started the creation of these heavens and earth, and created all the creatures in them? Who can place the planets and the stars in their positions? Who can then repeat the process of the creation? Say, Allah, it is He who does this. He does it by Himself, alone without partners. Then how are you deluded away from the truth, how is it that you are so misled from the right path to falsehood? Say, is there of your partners one that guides to the truth? Say, it is Allah who guides to the truth. You know that your deities are incapable of guiding those who are astray. It is Allah alone who guides the misled and confused ones, and turns the hearts from the wrong path to the right path. It is Allah, none has the right to be worshipped but He. Is then he who guides to the truth more worthy to be followed, or he who finds not guidance, himself, unless he is guided? Will the servant then follow the one who guides to the truth, so that he may see after he was blind, or follow one who doesn't guide to anything except towards blindness and muteness? Allah said that Ibrahim said, O my father, why do you worship that which hears not, sees not and cannot avail you in anything? Surah 19, Ayah 42. And said to his people, worship you that which you, yourselves, carve? While Allah has created you and what you make. Surah 37, Ayat 95-96. Also, there are many ayat in this regard. Allah then said, then, what is the matter with you? How judge you? What is the matter with you? What has happened to your mind? How did you make Allah's creatures equal to Him? What kind of judgment did you make to turn away from Allah, and worship this or that? Why did you not worship the Lord, glorified be He, the true King, the Judge and the one who guides to the truth? Why didn't you call upon Him alone and turn towards Him? Allah then explained that they did not follow their own religion out of evidence and proof. The fact is that they were following mere conjecture and imagination. But conjecture is in no way a substitute for the truth. At the end of this ayah, He said, Allah is all aware of what they do. This is both a threat and a promise of severe punishment. Allah said that He would reward them for their actions with a complete reward. And this Qur'an is not such as could ever be produced by other than Allah, Lord of the heavens and the earth, but it is a confirmation of the revelation, which was before it, that is, the Torah, and the Injil, Gospel, and a full explanation of the book, that is, laws, decreed for mankind, wherein there is no doubt, from the Lord of the Alameen, mankind, jinn, and all that exists. Or do they say, He, Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, has forged it? Say, bring then a surah, chapter, like unto it, and call upon whomsoever you can besides Allah, if you are truthful. Nay, they have belied the knowledge whereof they could not comprehend and what has not yet been fulfilled, that is, their punishment. Thus those before them did belie. Then see what was the end of the Zalimun, polytheists and wrongdoers. And of them there are some who believe therein, and of them there are some who believe not therein, and your Lord is all aware of the mufsidun, evildoers, liars. The Qur'an is the true, inimitable word of Allah, and it is a miracle. The Qur'an has a miraculous nature that cannot be imitated. No one can produce anything similar to the Qur'an, nor 10 surahs, or even one surah like it. The eloquence, clarity, precision and grace of the Qur'an cannot be but from Allah. The great and abundant principles and meanings within the Qur'an, which are of great benefit in this world and for the hereafter, cannot be but from Allah. There is nothing like His high self and attributes or like His sayings and actions. Therefore His words are not like the words of His creatures. This is why Allah said, and this Qur'an is not such as could ever be produced by other than Allah, meaning, a book like this cannot be but from Allah. This is not similar to the speech uttered by humans. But it is a confirmation of the revelation, which was before it, such as previous revelations and books. The Qur'an confirms these books and is a witness to them. It shows the changes, perversions and corruption that have taken place within these books. Then, Allah said, and a full explanation of the book, wherein there is no doubt, from the Lord of all that exists. That is, fully and truly explaining and detailing the rules, and the lawful and the unlawful. With this complete and more than sufficient explanation, the Qur'an leaves no doubt that it is from Allah, the Lord of all that exists. Allah says, or do they say, he has forged it. Say, bring then a surah like unto it, and call upon whomsoever you can besides Allah, if you are truthful. If you argue, claim and doubt whether this is from Allah, then you uttered a lie and blasphemy, and you say it is from Muhammad. Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, however is a man like you, and since he came as you claim with this Qur'an, then you produce a surah like one of its surahs. Produce something of the same nature, and seek help and support with all the power you have from humans and jinns. This is the third stage. Allah challenged them and called them to produce a counterpart of the Qur'an if they were truthful in their claim that it was simply from Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. Allah even suggested that they seek help from anyone they chose. But He told them that they would not be able to do it. They would have no way of doing so. Allah said, say, if the mankind and the jinn were together to produce the like of this Qur'an, they could not produce the like thereof, even if they helped one another. Surah 17, Ayah 88. Then He reduced the number for them to 10 surahs similar to it. In the beginning of Surah Hud, Allah said, or they say, He forged it. Say, bring you then 10 forged surahs like unto it, and call whomsoever you can, other than Allah, if you speak the truth. Surah 11, Ayah 13. In this surah, He went even further to challenge them to produce only one surah like unto the Qur'an. So He said, or do they say, He has forged it? Say, bring then a surah like unto it, and call upon whomsoever you can besides Allah, if you are truthful. Surah 10, Ayah 38. He also challenged them in Surah Al-Baqarah, a Madinite surah, to produce one surah similar to it. He stated in that surah that they would never be capable of doing so, saying, but if you do it not, and you can never do it, then fear the fire, hell. Surah 2, Ayah 24. It should be noted here that eloquence was a part of the nature and character of the Arabs. Arabic poetry including Al-Mu'allaqat, the oldest complete collection of the most eloquent ancient Arabic poems, was considered to be the best in the literary arts. However, Allah sent down to them something whose style none were familiar with, and no one is equal in stature to imitate. So those who believed among them, believed because of what they knew and felt in the book, including its beauty, elegance, benefit, and fluency. They became the most knowledgeable of the Qur'an and its best in adhering to it. The same thing happened to the magicians during Pharaoh's time. They were knowledgeable of the arts of sorcery, however, when Musa performed his miracles, they knew that it must have come through someone that was supported and guided by Allah. They knew that no human could perform such acts without the permission of Allah. Similarly, Isa was sent at the time of scholarly medicine and during the advancement in the treatment of patients. He healed the blind, lepers, and raised the dead to life, by Allah's leave. What Isa was able to do was such that no form of treatment or medicine could reproduce. As a result, those who believed in him knew that he was Allah's servant and his messenger. Similarly, in the Sahih, Allah's messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, there was never a prophet but he was given signs by which the people would recognize him, and that which I was given is revelation that Allah revealed, so I hope that I will have the most followers among them. Allah then said, nay, they have belied the knowledge whereof they could not comprehend and what has not yet been fulfilled. They did not believe in the Qur'an and they have not yet grasped it or comprehended it. And what has not yet been fulfilled? They have not attained the guidance and the true religion. So they belied it out of ignorance and foolishness. Those before them did belie, meaning, the past nations, then see what was the end of the wrongdoers. Look at how we destroyed them, because they denied our messengers in their wickedness, pride, stubbornness and ignorance. So beware you who deny the message, that the same end will befall you. Allah's statement, and of them there are some who believe therein, means that among those you were sent to, O Muhammad, are people who will believe in this Qur'an, follow you and benefit from what has been sent to you. And of them there are some who believe not therein, but dies as a disbeliever and will be resurrected as such. And your Lord is all aware of the mischief makers. He best knows those who deserve guidance, so He guides them, and those who deserve to go astray, He allows to go astray. Allah is, however, the just who is never unjust. He gives everyone what they deserve. All glory is His, the Exalted. There is no God but He. And if they belie you, say, for me are my deeds and for you are your deeds. You are innocent of what I do, and I am innocent of what you do. And among them are some who listen to you, but can you make the deaf to hear, even though they apprehend not? And among them are some who look at you, but can you guide the blind, even though they see not? Truly, Allah wrongs not mankind in aught, but mankind wrong themselves. The command to be free and clear from the idolaters. Allah said to His Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, if these idolaters belie you, then be clear from them and their deeds. Say, for me are my deeds, and for you are your deeds. Similarly, Allah said, say, O you disbelievers! I worship not that which you worship. Surah 109, Ayat 1-2, to the end of the surah. Ibrahim al-Khalil, the friend, and his followers said to the idolaters among their people, verily, we are free from you and whatever you worship besides Allah. Surah 60, Ayah 4. Allah then said, and among them are some who listen to you, they listen to your beautiful talk and to the glorious Qur'an. They listen to your truthful, eloquent and authentic hadiths that are useful to the hearts, the bodies and their faith. This is indeed a great benefit and is sufficient. But guiding the people to the truth is not up to you or to them. You cannot make the deaf hear. Therefore you cannot guide these people, except if Allah wishes. And among them are some who look at you, they look at you and at what Allah has given you in terms of dignity, noble personality and great conduct. There is in all of this clear evidence of your prophethood to those who have reason and insight. Other people also look, but they do not receive guidance like them. Believers look at you with respect and dignity, while disbelievers regard you with contempt. And when they see you, they treat you only in mockery. Surah 25, Ayah 41. Then Allah announces that He is never unjust with anyone. He guides whomever He wills and opens the eyes of the blind, makes the deaf hear, and removes neglect from the hearts. At the same time, He lets others go astray, moving away from faith. He does all of that, yet He is always just, for He is the ruler and has full authority over His kingdom. He does whatever He wills without any restrictions. No one can question Him as to what He does, while He will question everyone else. He is omniscient, all-wise, and all-just. So Allah said, truly, Allah wrongs not mankind in aught, but mankind wrong themselves. In the hadith narrated by Abu Dur, he states that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, related, that his Lord, exalted and high is He, said, O my servant! I have prohibited oppression for myself and made it prohibited for you, so do not oppress one another. Until he said at the end of the hadith, O my servants! It is but your deeds that I reckon for you and then recompense you for. So let him who finds good, in the hereafter, praise Allah. And let him who finds other than that, blame no one but himself. The complete version was recorded by Muslim.